Shalom, everybody. This is Jerusalem Jane coming to you from my small apartment here in Jerusalem. I gonna wait a little bit before I dive into the whole situation here. What's going on in Israel right now? I'm gonna wait just about a minute before I start giving an update on what's going on, what we are facing right now. If you have been following me here on Israel One Nation, where I'm live right now, or on other social media, you will know that I have been sharing about the massive rocket attacks that we are facing right now. So I will give you the background for that. So in the meantime, where are you from? Give me some thumbs up if you can hear what I'm saying. Right now I'm using my computer to broadcast to all of you, and welcome to the whole world where you're watching from. Arkansas, America, I can see some people from Israel. Welcome everybody. It's a very tense situation. I have some notes I made over here because I want to be sure that I'm giving you all the right information. So forgive me for looking down once in a while, but that's because I want to be accurate in the things that I'm going to share with you today. Before I go into all of this information, can I just ask you to share out this video, because I don't know how much of all of this you're going to hear in mainstream media, because, well, it's just rockets hitting down in Israel again. You know, it happens on and off. So you might not hear this. So if you could kindly just share out this video for the world to know what we are facing. I also want to apologize. I'm battling the last of a bronchitis, so I don't have the strongest voice, but I'm going to do my very best. I want to say my TV is on, and I have been making this video a little bit because the Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, has scheduled a press briefing together with the leader of the Israeli Defense Forces to give their side of it and to give an update. And I thought it would be wise for me to wait to see what they have to say, but so far they are more than an hour late. So I'm just going to make this very brief to let you know what's going on right now here in Israel, what has been going on since 4 a.m. this morning. And then eventually when Bibi is going to give the statements after I end this broadcast, I will keep an eye on it and I will share it for all of you. So right now, let me just say good morning to the whole world here from Israel. Well, it's actually now 20 minutes to 12. It's almost noon here in Israel. I woke up around 7 o'clock and I had the sound of my phone, but the first thing I noticed was an email from the Prime Minister's office, and there was a statement from Benjamin Netanyahu about the targeted attack, assassination of a terrorist leader inside Gaza. And then I saw all the code red alerts on my phone. I turned on the sound on my phone, and it has literally, for all of you who has the app on your phone, the red alerts, it has been going non-stop almost for hours. Right now it's quiet. We're breathing a little bit. But what happened is that inside the Gaza Strip, there are different fractions. Hamas, the terror organizations, are the ones who are in charge of the Gaza Strip. And once in a while, they are firing rockets at Israel, as you all very well know. There's also another big fraction inside the Gaza Strip, that is Islamic Jihad. And once in a while, they fire rocket at Israel. The top leader of Islamic Jihad, let me get his name right, Baha Amu Atta. I think that's how you say his name. He is a very cold-blooded terrorist. He is high profile. He's the leader of the military wing of Islamic Jihad. And for a long time, he has been the mastermind behind the rocket attacks, the sniper attacks, the drone attacks towards Israel, towards soldiers and when they are firing rockets at Israel. This guy is a very, very bad guy. The Israeli security forces and the intelligence agency has been monitoring him for a long, long time. And they knew that he was planning massive, massive attacks towards Israel, just a matter of time. So they have been watching him, and this guy knew they were watching him. So he has been surrounding himself with civilians, like they always do. These coward terrorists are always surrounding themselves with civilians. 4 a.m. this morning, when the Israeli intelligence agency were watching him, they knew this is the moment, this is the opportunity. He's alone in a house with his wife. And they bombed that house, and they killed him and his wife. And this is what's called a targeted assassination, when you cut the head of the snake. So that what took place in Gaza this morning, 4 a.m. This guy was literally taking out for all the crimes he has done towards Israel, towards the civilians here in Israel, towards the hundreds and thousands of people living close to Gaza who is being sent running for shelter again and again and again and again, when this guy decided it's time to send rockets towards Israel. So 4 a.m., this guy was killed. The house was taken out by the Israeli Air Force. Of course, this is a massive blow toward the Islamic Jihad. This was their key figure. This guy had a lot of power. He was climbing the ladder, maybe one day to even be the leader of the Islamic Jihad. Of course, you have to understand, he's not doing anything unless he's being told to do so from Tehran. This is Iran, who's having proxies, Hamas, his Islamic Jihad, Hezbollah, who's always doing what they're being told from Iran. So when I wake up, there is this press briefing from the Israeli Prime Minister that Israel had targeted this guy for all the crimes he has done toward Israel, and they are saying he was a ticking time bomb because he had so many new attacks literally waiting towards Israel, towards the Israeli Defense Forces, towards the people living, the civilians here in Israel. The retaliation came almost within an hour, and since pretty much 6, 7 a.m. this morning, rocket has been flying into Israel as retaliations from Islamic Jihad. And if you have been watching, all the things that I've been sharing today, you will see how I have posted. I have on my phone the red alerts, because constantly, bam, 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 constantly rockets were flying in. This time, they didn't limit their attack to the border communities just around the Gaza Strip. They sent in rockets that was hitting all the southern of Israel, going all the way up to Bajam, to Jaffa, to Tel Aviv, to Holon. This is how far they have been shooting rockets today. I was actually watching the Israeli news channel I-24, which is the source that I have in English. And while they are live broadcasting, the anchor, the studio host is saying, oh my goodness, everybody is evacuating. My whole staff is running down to the bomb shelter, but I choose to be here in the studio and live broadcast because I want you to show what's going on. So this is, of course, a massive, massive escalation. So more than 2 million people here in Israel could not go to work today. School are canceled, buses are canceled, trains are canceled, which literally puts half of this country paralyzed. I don't know if it's fair to say that half of this country is literally in a state of war right now. So more than 250,000 children were kept home from schools. The schools didn't open this morning. Highways, the home command front here in Israel are the ones who is putting out the guidelines for how to act when we are in these scenarios. And they were out saying there are no schools, go home from work, stay home with your children, and don't be too far away from bomb shelters. So this is the situation right now here in Israel. More than 2 million people are sitting in bomb shelters, are running for their lives. I think between 50 and 75 rockets has been fired at Israel this morning alone. It's almost noon here in Israel. The funeral took place inside Gaza for this the Islamic Jihad leader, and of course they are very, very angry. So what Israel did was, for a couple of hours, Israel didn't do anything with all the rockets that was flying in. But just about an hour ago, the Israeli Air Force attacked again strategically, and they took out 2 Islamic terrorists inside the Gaza Strip that, as far as I understand, was getting ready to fire rockets at Israel. What also happened this morning in Damascus is there was another attack on an Islamic Jihad leader in Damascus. He was also targeted. He survived. His son was killed. So just to sum up, in Damascus, the Islamic Jihad leader, he was targeted, but he survived. In the Gaza Strip, 4 a.m. this morning, Israel cut the head of the snake in a targeted killing of this brutal terrorist who has so much Jewish blood on his hands. He was the mastermind behind so many terror attacks, rocket attacks, sniper attacks, drone attacks towards Israel, and the Israeli security agency has been following him, and they knew from intel he has something massive planned towards Israel. We need to take him out. 4 o'clock this morning, there was a golden opportunity when he was alone in a house with his wife, and he was taken out. Rocket has been flying into Israel all day. The Israeli Defense Forces took 2 more terrorists. So this means that 3 Islamic Jihad terrorists has been taken out today by the Israeli Defense Forces. Another one survived, but his son was killed. Islamic Jihad is out saying this is a declaration of war. We are now at war with the Zionist enemy, and you're going to have a retaliation you wouldn't see coming. I'm sitting here in Jerusalem, the capital of the Jewish state. So far, we have had no rocket alerts in Jerusalem, but in Modi'in, which is a big city between Tel Aviv and Jerusalem, the red alert went on about an hour ago. And Modi'in, I think if you drive in a car, is about 30 minutes from Jerusalem. So it's getting closer, The Israeli Security Cabinet has had a meeting today, and Benjamin Netanyahu has had a meeting with, of course, the head of the military, and we are waiting for them to give a press conference now, of course, where Bibi is going to explain as much as he can for security reasons what they did this morning, why they did what they did, what the retaliation is. So you have to understand now, like I'm saying, I'm sitting here in safety in Jerusalem, but all the people down south and also, around the Gaza border, you have to remember, I have been in those communities. I made videos. I was walking in kindergartens, and there are bomb shelters all over, because when rockets are fired from Gaza, in some of these communities, they have 10 seconds. 10 seconds to find shelter. That's literally impossible unless you have a bomb shelter in your house or you're literally sitting in one. So the only reason why we haven't had anyone killed today is because the Israeli population know when there's a rocket, red alert, bang, 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 you run, you move. You don't sit back and say, oh, let's see what happens. This is a matter of life or death. So because the Israeli population now are so used to this, they run for shelter immediately. A house was hit, it was empty. Why? Because they ran for shelter. I just posted another video on my social media where you can see a rocket smashing down on a major highway here in Israel. Only by God's miracle did that rocket not hit a car. Only by God's miracle, I'm telling you. So this is what we are facing right now. And the Israeli Defense Forces are very, very strategic. They know in the Gaza Strip we have Hamas, we have Islamic Jihad. The Israeli Defense Forces has passed the message on through a negotiator, through a mediator to Hamas saying, we don't have a beef with you. This is not about you. Right now, we are targeting Islamic Jihad. Do not get involved. We'll see what happens as the funeral is coming to an end from this terrorist leader, and all of these heads of the Islamic Jihad are going to come together. Of course, we are holding our breath because we know the rocket that has been flying so far is most likely just the beginning. The question is whether it's going to be continue to be Islamic Jihad who attacks Israel, and how much, how big an escalation, and of course, is Hamas going to join? Is Hamas going to attack too? Because then we are talking about a very, very, very bad situation. So the Israeli army has told Hamas, don't get involved, stay out of this. But the issue, of course, is can Hamas sit back, not do anything, while their Arab brothers in Islamic Jihad is at war with Israel? We don't know. The Israeli army is out saying we are anticipating a tough couple of days. They don't expect this to be over anytime soon, which literally means that for half of this country, they are in a state of war right now. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is what's going on, and this is what has been going on since 4 a.m. this morning, since Israel took out the head of the snake in Islamic Jihad. So, I know that all of you watching this on all my social media, you are amazing. I know you are watchmen on the walls. I know you understand how serious this is. I know many of you, you love Israel, you stand united with Israel, you stand united with the Jewish people, and for such a time as this is where we need you to lift our hands. Please pray for the government, and of course, this is, I just saw now they were speaking on the news, this is a very, how to say this, politically wise, this is a very strange situation to go in and target this guy, because we are kind of like in between elections. We are kind of like, you know, in between governments. Benny Gantz from the Blue and White still has a little bit less than a week to try and form a new government. Like I started by saying, the Israeli intelligence agency has been following this guy for a long time. They knew everywhere he went. They knew everything he did. They knew who he was meeting with. And they made that judgment call that if we don't take him out now, this horrific attacks that he has planned towards the Jewish civilians, this is going to happen. So no matter what the political situation is, we need to act now. And that message was passed on to Benjamin Netanyahu, who is the prime minister here. And it was also told to Benny Gantz, so he knew this was going on. Of course, Benny Gantz is a former IDF chief of staff. He was the chief of staff for the Israeli Defense Forces when we had the last war in Gaza. So he knows very well what all of this is about. Israel also got, and this is his first day actually at the job, Israel got a new defense minister. Naftali Bennett was appointed defense minister, and today is his first day at the job, and all of this is going on. So what about a christening for a new job? So this guy is getting his hands full on the very first day. So to all of you Israel lovers out there, to all of you people who understand how absolutely important and serious this is, please pray for us. Pray for the government, pray for Benjamin Netanyahu, who of course gave the green light for this operation. Everything lands in his hands. And I just want to say to the Israeli Defense Forces, we love you. We are so proud of you. We stand with you. We lift your hands. We are the prayer warriors behind you, so you can go and do what needs to be done in order to save, to keep the Jewish people safe in the only Jewish homeland that is surrounded by so many enemies, and also enemies within. So kol hakavod, as we say here in Israel, thumbs up to the Israeli Defense Forces. We love you, we stand with you, and united Israel is coming together. It doesn't matter if you're left or right or in the middle. In a time like this, Israel comes together. Israel unites behind the Israeli Defense Forces, behind Benjamin Netanyahu, who has to make this decision that we need to take out these people who is killing our civilians. So this was just a brief update, as brief as I possibly could make it, just for you to understand what has been going on and what is going on. I can see your comments are coming in. Yeah, someone is saying, why doesn't Israel just bomb? You see, the difference is that the terrorists inside Israel target Israeli civilians. That's why they are sending in all the rockets. That's why they are sending all the fire kites. They are burning down the crops, and they're sending in kites with explosive devices because they just want to kill Israeli children and grandmothers. When the IDF retaliates, they take out terrorist targets. They don't just go in and bomb here and there and everywhere in Gaza. That's the difference. Despite the facts, the Arabs are spinning all the lies and the propaganda that the Israeli armies are killing children in Gaza. They are not. They targeted the terrorists who commit these acts towards Israel. But many times, like we see again and again and again, these bloody cowards of terrorists in the Gaza Strip surround themselves with civilians, because then they know, oh, Israel will not take us out, because the Israeli army is a moral army. They don't just kill Palestinian children. And if, God forbid, there are civilian casualties, it's because they surround themselves with these civilians. So that's why Israel is always doing the right thing. And many times before Israel, I don't know if you know this, but many times before Israel bombed in the Gaza Strip, they are sending in flyers. They are sending in flyers saying, we are going to be bombing. If you're in this area, we're going to take out these terror targets. You move. They even call people up on their cell phones and say, we give you a 10-minute warnings. We're going to come and we're going to take out this training camp, this weapon factory, all of these different terrorist sites. So Israel is doing everything they always can to avoid civilian casualties in the Gaza Strip. And that is the truth, even though they like to spin it the other way around. So, yeah, I'm just watching the news now. It says Israel is under attack. Tel Aviv is targeted for the first time in a long time. They're sending rockets towards Tel Aviv. Schools are closed. Workplaces are closed. More than 2 million people here in Israel right now is not living an everyday, normal day life because they are literally in a state of war. So I'm going to end this video now. If you haven't done so already, would you just please share it out for the world to know that this is what's going on? Of course, I'm going to be watching the news all day. I will go live and give you updates throughout the day when something else happens. In the meantime, friends, pray, 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 pray for the peace of Jerusalem. Pray for Netanyahu, who has to make all of these decisions. Pray for confusion in the enemy camp, literally, because we are literally now sitting back, don't know how bad is this going to be, how much is Islamic Jihad gonna retaliate. They're gonna do what they're being told from Iran. Is Hamas gonna get involved? Because then we are talking massive, and this is something that nobody wants. The Israeli army is out saying we do not want any confrontation, we don't want any escalation, but we cut the head of the snake who has been targeted our Jewish people for so long and who was planning major attacks. So Israel is out saying step down, step down, step down. We don't want any more escalation. And I also just heard that a delegation from Egypt is on their way to the Gaza Strip to try and calm things down, and to tell them, guys, chill, So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the situation here in Israel since 4 a.m. My phone has been bing, 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 bing all day with the red alerts that I have been sharing with all of you. So keep us in prayers. Really, really keep us in prayers. And tell your friends, your family, you know what? Israel is literally at war right now. 2 million people are literally paralyzed. They can't do their job. They can't go to school because terrorists are sending in rockets. We need to stand for Israel. Call people in your church and say we need to have a prayer meeting for Israel. We need to stand in the gap with the only Jewish state. So, yeah, so Israel, I saw an interview with a gentleman who was living around the Gaza border, and he was saying, we are fed up. We are living ducks for when these terrorists decide to send in rockets. So many people are saying here in Israel, it's time to go into Gaza, it's time to take these people out. But it is not that easy. It's going to be bloody, it's going to be messy. And like I said, we're kind of between governments right now. So I'm not gonna speculate on all of that. I believe the army knows what to do in accordance with Benjamin Netanyahu as the prime minister and Naftali Bennett as the new defense minister. So hopefully Israel will do what Israel needs to do, and if that is a major offensive in the Gaza Strip, so be it, depending on what's coming from the other side. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to sign off. Thank you for your comments. I'm going to read them later. So as I'm waiting, I can see they're still waiting. So when Bibi is going to go live with his press conference, I'm watching on the TV. I'm going to share it live here on Israel One Nation. So thank you for watching. Share this video out if you don't mind, for people to know what's going on. And stay tuned here on Israel One Nation, and I will keep you updated today, tomorrow, whatever is going to happen here. God bless you all. Please pray for Israel. Bye.